Oh my god. Guys, Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker. This is it, folks. The conclusion of the sequel trilogy and the Skywalker saga. Not the complete saga, but the complete saga. The end of Star Wars as you know it. And I got to experience the sheer joy of watching this film. And that, my friends, is what this video is going to be. Once again, this video is sponsored by NordVPN, and you can get 4 months free with a 3-year subscription by using my discount code. Everything you need is in the description below, so check it out. Alright, onwards. Forgive me for kind of keeping my voice down a little bit on this one. My girlfriend's mum's asleep in the next room, and I wouldn't want to wake her. I got to watch The Rise of Skywalker in style today. No, I didn't pay for premium seats. I did watch it in 3D, but reluctantly, because it was the only English viewing at this cinema for this day. But the best part of this experience was the charity meet and greet they had going on in the lobby, which was courtesy of a group called Star Wars Stammtisch Aachen. German viewers, forgive my pronunciation there, but I just wanted to give them a shout out because they were just terrific, and they seem like really lovely people. Now then, on to the main event, on to the actual film. Now, for now, I'm going to be remaining spoiler-free. I think at some stage in this video, I will talk about spoilers, but I will let you know well in advance of that, so that those of you that haven't been able to see the film yet can just click off of it and not worry about a thing. For now, spoiler-free. So, full transparency here, if you were hoping for a very well-written, well-made, high-quality finale for the Skywalker saga that feels organic and sensible and disciplined. If your love of Star Wars comes without even a little smidge of irony in there, this film might not be what you had in mind. If you're going to see this from purely an enjoyment standpoint, and you've accepted that yes, this is a film full of compromises, and that no, none of this was planned from the start, and you're prepared to just roll with whatever you're given, and are able to enjoy the film strictly from enjoyment alone, then you will have a good time with Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, just as I did. Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker's attempts to connect itself to the overall Skywalker saga and prove itself as a finale for a series that ended a while ago properly, they feel as desperate as they probably are. The Rise of Skywalker makes such big work of connecting the prequel saga, the original trilogy, and the sequel trilogy all in a nice big bow that it simultaneously ends up treading on the footsteps left by previous movies and rendering them kind of obsolete. And kind of my favorite part of this is that the film is pretty aware of this and does its best to remedy this, and you can tell there's such a conscientious effort to make this good. There's such an evident effort to drive it all home in a beautiful, satisfying way, and then, when it doesn't land, depending on what kind of Star Wars fan you are, you'll either roll with it and accept it, or you'll laugh at it, or you'll feel a little bit devastated. And I fall into the camp of people that were laughing, as a matter of fact. And I know a lot of people say this in reviews, and I mean this with absolutely no exaggeration. There's a pivotal scene in the third act of this film that's a big deal, it's a big moment. And everybody was hooting with laughter. And trust me, that was not the desired effect of the scene. It's supposed to be heavy and emotionally resonant, but it's hilarious. And this one moment stuck in my head for the entirety of the rest of the film and completely changed my outlook on everything. But okay. For the most part, this film is pretty much driven by coincidence, as it's full of these sort of convenient moments that really drive the story forwards. There's a definite quest element in this film that has the Resistance searching the galaxy for a specific item, and just like everything they encounter on the way is so coincidental. It's like a movie where people are traveling across the galaxy and they just keep running into friends wherever they go. And then there's just constant characters that would be important in any other scenario that get benched for some reason, and then they just swap them out with other characters that fill that same purpose that are all brand new. And by the end of it, it feels like this isn't really the finale of Star Wars, this is just what's left of Star Wars. And everything just keeps getting swapped around and reshuffled. And yeah, the film does definitely play out a lot more like The Force Awakens than it does The Last Jedi. If you liked The Force Awakens and would be willing to accept that, but with a bit more stupidity, kind of a bit more prequel-esque in its kind of the way that it plays out, I think you'll be happier with this than you were The Last Jedi. I certainly was. This film does in some ways complement The Last Jedi, but at the same time it renders it a very thin chapter in the overall saga. And it kind of plays out like this is the finale of the new series, and The Last Jedi was kind of like dress rehearsals for this finale, because there's so many scenarios that are teased in The Last Jedi that actually get to kind of play out in this one. And everything in this brand new trilogy all leads to one place, but it doesn't feel like, say, the Avengers, where everything comes together. It feels more like James Bond Spectre, where they kind of last minute tied everything together retrospectively, even though it's very, very obvious that this is just kind of a compromise to just round everything off for no reason. And in terms of character mortality, there is a definite and very disappointing lack of life or death stake in this movie. So overall, Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, does it give the perfect series capper for the Star Wars franchise? Fuck no. But my god, they really tried their best, and that really shows, and like, you know, thank you for the effort, I guess. As I said when I did my reaction on the trailer, there was no way that this film could ever exist without just throwing several plot lines and story threads that have been important to the franchise thus far in the bin. There was no way this film could ever play out without wearing compromise on its sleeve. It just couldn't be done, and Rise of Skywalker kind of proves that. And I think in that regard, in many ways, it is kind of the best film it could have been for what it is. Maybe. I don't really know. I mean, what can I say? In making this sequel trilogy, they may have gone too far in a few places. So of course, like, The Rise of Skywalker would have to backtrack on a lot of stuff. It really does show. Also, if you're looking forward to the Knights of Ren or the Sith Troopers, you're gonna be disappointed. They really don't add much. Okay, let's go into spoiler territory now for those of you who have seen the film. If you haven't seen the film and you want to get off here, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed the film. Comment below and discuss. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to comment, subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below are the links to my Patreon. Right, onwards with the spoiler section. So I'll start with a positive. I definitely prefer Rey in an ensemble between Finn and Poe. Like, the three of them spend a lot of time together in this film, unlike The Last Jedi, and I definitely like it a lot better that way. Some people have complained that these three don't have much chemistry, but I think they did quite nicely with that. Kylo Ren, significantly more intimidating this time when he's got his mask on. Once again, you have kind of the problem where I think as soon as he pulls off the mask, the writing goes a bit dopey, and I think, like, pulling off the mask is supposed to be like, oh, his humanity and everything, but Ben Solo's humanity showing through just makes the character seem kind of silly, kind of dopey. At about the halfway point of this film, Kylo Ren becomes a piping hot mess all over again. In the first half, though, I absolutely loved Kylo's presence. The scene where they basically have a lightsaber battle through a Force link on Kylo Ren's ship, I guess. Probably the unironic highlight of the entire film. That scene just looked cool, and the revelations that came with it and everything like that, that was really awesome. The revelation that Rey is Palpatine's granddaughter, that's something I quite enjoyed. Definitely a lot of echoes to Empire Strikes Back, where we had Vader being Luke's father, and we have Palpatine being Rey's grandfather. Yeah, like, that whole thing feels very similar. Speaking of Palpatine, his return feels as forced as it is. We do get a backstory for Snoke in this one, and it's that basically he was just created by Palpatine, and I need more answers to why he did that, but the film's not willing to give those. There's no real explanation as to how Palpatine's even back. Some people say, is he a clone? The weird thing is his body's aged a lot, but there's less prosthetics going on in his face, so as a matter of fact, he just looks younger until he reaches full power later on in the film, in which case he starts to look, well, the way you'd expect Palpatine to look, to be honest. Then there's the quest element that I was talking about, where things are very convenient. They want to find a wayfinder, and they're working their way through this Star Destroyer, and my god, they are so outgunned by stormtroopers, and they just take them out like they are trash. They just absolutely blitz their way through it with absolutely no trouble, life or death stakes whatsoever. The stormtroopers are just hilariously terrible at what they do in this film, more so than ever before. So speaking of convenience, the Wayfinder gets destroyed. Kylo Ren destroys the Wayfinder, but no worries, because there just so happens to be a Wayfinder on a TIE fighter that Rey is just kind of toying around with, and the whole thing is like there's only 2 in the galaxy, but there just happens to be one in a TIE fighter that Rey just happens to be playing with. Also, to find the first Wayfinder, they have to go through so much effort, and then that second one is just sitting there. But like, to find the first one, they have to basically read off of a dagger thing, and it's got like Sith scribe on it, and the only person that could translate that is C-3PO, but he's been programmed to translate anything but Sith. Alright, question 1, if he's supposed to be a useful droid, surely they would make it so he could translate Sith. So basically, for him to be able to translate it, they have to erase his entire memory. His memory is all he has of the scripture. Other than that, it's been destroyed. So let me get this straight. They have to erase his memory so that he can read something based on memory. You see, there's no explanation for that whatsoever. And they even go so far as to really reiterate this erases his entire memory. So then he kind of, sort of dies. Then he comes back to read the scripture through memory alone, and he goes back down again, and then he's back to normal. Except he spends the entire movie getting reacquainted with everybody because he's lost his memories of everyone, only to get his memory back from R2-D2. So that whole kind of fake-out death thing kind of wasn't really earned, and there's a lot of that in this film. There's a sequence where Rey thinks she's accidentally murdered Chewbacca when Chewbacca's basically been captured, and he's being flown away on a First Order, or should I say Final Order ship, and she tries to get it back using the Force, and then she accidentally Force lightnings it, blowing it to smithereens. And then we get a few minutes of everyone mourning Chewbacca, and then in the next scene he's just revealed to be alive. Literally immediately after the fake-out death, he's fine. And it takes so damn long for everybody to realize this, and then Rey just has this sudden Force sense that is like, oh, Chewbacca's alive. It's like, you couldn't have done that earlier. Oh, but the film has to have them grieve for a bit. We have to kind of make everybody believe he's actually dead, even though we show the entire audience that he's not dead immediately after the fake-out death. What was the point of any of that? And then Kylo Ren gets a fake-out death when he gets stabbed in the abdomen, but Rey saves him. She uses the Force to heal his wound. In kind of a last-ditch effort, General Leia uses the last of her basic life force to send a message to Ben Solo to kind of snap him out of the dark side. Now, I gotta ask, why was this not done earlier? This could have literally been done at the time that Ben stabbed Han, and literally all she does is say his name, and then he basically kind of has a moment of clarity when he sees not a Force ghost, but a vision brought through by the Force of Han Solo. So Ben Solo is basically redeemed, and he kind of helps out in the final battle to fight Emperor Palpatine, but he gets yeeted off the edge of a cliff, and that's kind of him benched. The final battle consists of, well, they know where Palpatine is, they know where the First Order is based now, so they're going to have a big assault on it. They first send in just a few X-Wings, but then unbeknownst to them, Lando Calrissian has basically gone and had a word with basically everybody in the galaxy, and they basically have a big ragtag attack on the entire Final Order, which is briefly interrupted by Palpatine draining the energy of the Force Dyad, which is Ben Solo and Rey, and using that power, or should I say unlimited power, to shoot lightning up into the sky and blow up a load of ships, but conveniently nobody important. Literally any and every character we got to know is completely protected in this scene, including characters that are literally standing outside of their ships. Everybody in this movie is just wearing plot armor for the entire thing. They are playing this thing with cheats on. So Palpatine's entire goal is that he wants Rey to kill him. He wants to basically egg her on until she kills him out of anger, so then the dark side can finally flow through her, and she can take the throne as Empress Palpatine. When she refuses to do that, Palpatine tries to electrocute her, but she uses her lightsaber to deflect it back at him, killing him in the process. I'm really not sure how that's different from just striking him down with a lightsaber, but I mean, like, she gladly lets him die. For real this time. But if falling into the core of the Death Star didn't kill him, why should this kill him? Well, we see all his skin fly off, and this is prompted by her hearing the voices of various generations of Jedi, including Hayden Christensen's Anakin Skywalker, which is a wonderful return. But where were they for their actual descendant, Ben Solo, who'd gone to the trouble of redeeming himself? But yeah, no, sure, we'll do it for Rey, why not? Seriously, this could have been so much cooler if we had, like, Anakin talking to Ben, and that being what persuades him to help Rey deal with it, but whatever, I guess. I mean, heck, that would have made a lot more sense for the early redemption than Han Solo, but okay. It was an unexpected return. So basically it takes all of Rey's energy to defeat Palpatine. For some reason, she dies because of it. Now, Kylo Ren is not dead after getting yeeted off a cliff. He gets up, and there's a scene where he basically revives her, and it takes his own life to do so. But, oh my god. This is the scene that everybody laughed at. He spends a good 3 minutes caressing her dead, lifeless body, just really feeling her up. And then he basically puts his hands on her waist, which revives her, and the two kiss. And I don't mean just a little peck, not just a little bit of gratitude. It is a full-on open-mouth kiss, and it just gets dragged out, and then Kylo Ren just flops down and dies. And it's hilarious. People were just hooting with laughter at this scene, which should be kind of a really concrete moment. And everyone was just laughing. Liz was next to me. She was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because it was a Reylo moment, and it feels like fan fiction in a film that feels a lot like fan fiction. And I gotta say, yeah, absolutely, this scene was fucking hilarious. I honestly thought they were gonna have sex right there and then, which is also so weird as it comes after all this stuff where Finn's just like, oh, I never got to tell Rey, and it's like, well, tell her what and everything, and then that never gets elaborated on, and it's kind of implied that Finn loves Rey, but I don't know because they never really go anywhere with that. And then once Palpatine is dead and the Final Order are destroyed, you see celebrations across the entire galaxy happening, and it's not quite as well done as it was in Return of the Jedi. It all feels a lot smaller. Oh yeah, there's one thing I forgot to talk about, is General Hux. It turns out he's a mole in the First Order, and then he gets immediately swapped out with a new character played by Richard E. Grant, who basically fills the original purpose of Hux. You could literally pull this plot thread from the movie, and it would make no difference whatsoever. So yeah, The Rise of Skywalker is as dumb as your average Star Wars prequel, but at least there's no lengthy scenes where they're talking about tax. It's a fun time at the movies. I had a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of moments that made me kind of squeal a little bit as a Star Wars fan. Some really nice fan service in there, and overall, it's dumb fun. But I understand why you'd be pissed off if you were wanting more from it than that. And, my condolences, I guess? I mean, look, let's all be real. You can buy DVDs and Blu-rays that are called Star Wars: The Complete Saga, and they include episodes 1 through to 6. And to all intents and purposes, that is a complete saga. You're not really losing anything by not bothering with this new trilogy, but sure, it's entertaining, so, you know, take it or leave it. Well, what do you guys think? Comment below and discuss, and as always, if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, don't forget to hit subscribe, hit the like button, and in the description below is the link to my Patreon. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great day. That's a cute outfit! Did your husband give it to you? Because you could get a way better costume from Zentai Zone. Check out their range of custom-made, tailored superhero costumes. Ridiculously good quality, value, and customization. Link is in the description below, as well as my coupon code CHANNELPUP, where you can get a discount off of your purchase. And while you're at it, why not get your suit designed by my talented buddy Dan from New Blood Dan's workshop? You can contact him via the link in the description section below. Seriously guys, you do not want to miss out on your chance to be your favorite superhero and feel authentic and professional. And you don't want to miss out on that channel pup discount.
Does it